but to know, where do I want to go? What's the path that I want to walk down? You know, I know I didn't want to be part of the rat race. I knew I didn't want that at all. I knew that I wanted to work for myself. I knew that I wanted to be my own man. I wanted to be my own person. I wanted to be my own active member of the universe. And so for years, you know, I was like, okay, you know, where's the place that I can, where's the little eddy that I can get off of this river? You know, where's the place? And it took me a long time to figure this out. And luckily, that it came in the opportunity of my friend Nate saying, hey, let's open a coffee shop. Now, a backstory about me: as soon as I had a car, I drove out from Hickman all the way into Lincoln every night and hung out at the coffee house until I was like 20. So from 16 to 20, I was at the coffee house every night, talking to people, learning how to form community, knowing more about people of different age groups, of different income brackets, and blah, blah, blah. I really got to know how to know people. And it was a perfect fit for me. It really worked for who I am as a person and the skills I have. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. Luckily, we got the money together. Somehow my parents threw the money together and loaned it to us, and Meadowlark was born. All right. So here I am in a sea of what I perceived, you know, the middle of agriculture, you know, lots of people that don't think the same way I do. Very lonely place. I go to Meadowlark, and I actually have a home away from home that I go to every day. I turn on the lights, and I hang out with my friends and make them coffee and get to know them really personally and very well. And you make this larger circle. Now, what was that theory you were talking about, you had in your syllabus?
Ecological theory?
Is it the ecological or the
With
like,
the concentric circles?
the concentric circle, yeah, like where, you know, there's the individual, there's nuclear family, and then there's
That's
like the
right.
community. So like, you know, I'm quite close with my family, but this is something totally new. People that I'm not biologically related to, that I related to so well. And I see them every day, different people, hundreds of people. I know hundreds of people very well, and I don't know too many people that can say that. And you know, it's a really a great thing to experience. With Meadowlark, because I knew I had the choice, especially there, because that was my baby. That's what I was. Luckily, I was the boss, you know, whatever that means. And we decided. I told Nate, I was like, I'll open a coffee shop with you, but we have to do fair trade. We have to do shade grown, and we have to do organic, or I'm going to bail, because I could not own something or live with myself if I knew that the life I was living was contributing so much to fossil fuels being poured into the ground, farmers being exploited, and the rainforest being cut right down. Now, you guys know about fair trade? Has fair trade been discussed in the?
Not explicitly.
Okay, well, what fair trade is, broadly, is the farmers that are growing the beans and are selling the green beans to the roasters or anything, they get a fair price for their beans. Typically, in a coffee plantation, the farmers are exploited, and they usually lose money year to year with their coffee production. But with fair trade, they're guaranteed a fair price that can actually provide health care, education to their children. You know, a lot of the stuff that we don't get here, they definitely get through the purchase of their fair trade coffee, which is certified through a third party. Organic, I'm sure a lot of you guys know what organic is. There's no pesticides, chemicals thrown on those plants to help them grow. They grow naturally in those bioregions, and so there's no pesticides or chemicals in the roasted bean that you guys drink. I know I don't really like drinking chemicals, you know, it's not a thing I like to do. And then the third thing with those beans is the shade grown. And the shade grown is something that's not very well known. If you're a big bird enthusiast, maybe you'll know. But shade grown means that in a typical coffee plantation, they clear cut the rainforest. They straight up scrub off the rainforest and then plant all these coffee plants. Now that's not exactly a sustainable thing. A, because monocrop agriculture, A, is really destructive. Two, all that biodiversity is absolutely lost. The carbon cycle stopped. It increases global warming. And then also the migratory birds that depend on those forests to live before they go north or south lose their home and they die. So it saves biodiversity through the fact that those plants are now grown underneath the canopy of the rainforest. Instead of clear cutting them, they're shade grown, which actually makes the coffee taste better. So if you ever see shade grown coffee, which we sell exclusively at Meadowlark, get that stuff first, because you're going to taste a richer bean. The bean grows slower, it's richer, it tastes better. Scientific fact. All right? Maybe not scientific.
Question, so production, for example, per acre, are there fewer bushes per acre if it's shade grown?
From my understanding, it is. And the plants grow slower in the shade. But it, like you said, it's a quality over quantity thing. They're growing, well, have you guys know about like the Robusta versus Arabica beans? There's the Robusta beans that taste like burnt rubber and is what was probably in the butternut coffee. And those are very fast growing, very disgusting coffee beans. And then they got the Arabica beans, which are the gourmet coffee beans. And those are the beans that a lot of like the popular chains, have really sprung up and gotten popular because opposed to the Robusto, they have superior coffee. Now, my opinion of corporate coffee is that they over roast their beans consistently so they constantly taste burnt. And I don't want burnt beans, I want well roasted beans. They're shade grown and just done perfectly, which I do. Yeah, so there's a quality over quantity thing. Coffee is the second largest traded thing in the world next to oil. So the decisions we make about coffee affect a large amount of people, a large part of the economy. So that's just the beans. That's the coffee beans at Meadowlark. Obviously we recycle almost everything. The tin, everything you recycle, we recycle. We even keep like the CO2 chargers and give them to artists to like turn into cute little art stuff and like all the milk jugs. I mean, coffee shops go through tons of milk jugs making their lattes. And some coffee shops that I've worked at before, they just throw those suckers away when they could just be easily recycled. And I mean, we only throw one garbage can a day away. As opposed to like when I worked at other coffee shops, we were throwing those trash liners out every shift. So as opposed to 3 times to 1 time, that's a lot of waste reduction right there, just by the simple fact. And I'm sure, I hope anyway, you guys all know how to recycle. I mean, that's like elementary stuff. And if you haven't got to that, I'm not judging, but let's get on the horse here and get that done, because recycling is super easy.
Use dishes too for in-house.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, other coffee shops just do paper cups, like here you go, look at our logo, see you later, goodbye, With us, Meadowlark is really about sitting down, talking, communicating on a fundamental human level, around that campfire, sharing stories, pouring your heart out, when I was a kid, I used to just freaking live and die in coffee shops, and like all the romance and all the heartbreak and all that great sticky drama, that's what life is about, and that stuff happens at coffee shops, and that's what I really love about it. And so it's really about sticking together, hanging out, expressing each other, just connecting. And if you start hanging out at Meadowlark, you'll become part of this family, and it's, I just can't talk too much. I can talk way too much about that because I just gush over it.
I think cheers with caffeine instead of beer.
And that's, thinking of that, like, the recovery community, the people that are trying to make their lives better, they come to Meadowlark because it's a place to socialize. That's not a bar, and so it has that other healing effect about it too.